Okay, so this is maybe one of the funniest things that I've seen happen in a while on Twitter. Okay, so basically, Women's March is an organization, and organizations sometimes have logos. You know, logos, not just the Greek word for logic. I think that's what it is. Also, is the plural of when an image is used to represent something. The logo. You see? You understand? Are we following? Well, they changed their logo. All right? Here, let me see if I can't get a neutral Women's March logo right up here. I don't understand. I'll try soon, okay? We'll go back over it from the start. So this is the original logo they had. All right? Now let's appreciate. Okay? We have some foofy hair frills. No doubt from a person with short hair. Lesbian confirmed. They're all doing kind of a lip pout thing, I guess, and they all have very large eyelashes. Impressive. Crazy, you know? A fine logo. But, much to the ire of critical gender theorists the world over, they adopted a new logo. Here we have Dr. Jane Claire Jones, a TERF, complaining about the new one. Given that male and female are allegedly just gender identities, this is a pretty interesting amendment to the logo of the Women's March. All right? And you got this new one. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this isn't as attractive as the old one. And the honest answer is, yeah, actually this logo does look better in my opinion. I like the color portrait a lot better. I like it. Yeah, it does look a lot nicer. I'm not going to deny that at all. But here's the new one anyway, and you've got heavens to Betsy. You've got a silhouette that has a big old nose. Okay, now as anyone who has watched Attack on Titan knows, it's actually possible for women to have large noses. Get it? So I said no. Yeah, hey, you get me. Hey, you get me. You know, as anyone who remembers, you know, now that I'm looking at her honestly, this is really only a big nose for anime. This is like a normal nose for humans. It's not even big. I get it's like anime big because usually they don't even draw the nose, you know? For Annie. Wait, why is it in half now? There you go. Whatever, she's cute. Anyway, more importantly, so crazily, it is actually possible for women to have larger noses. But there, now you know what one looks like, okay? Anyway, it's the Women's March, blah, blah. And a bunch of TERFs on Twitter and everywhere were screaming that they put a male in the Women's March logo. Now, here's the thing, okay? It's true that this is a more masculine skull shape than these ones. You know, the nose bridge connecting further up and the less rounded forehead. But here's the crazy thing about humans, you know? We're all basically the same, and then we get hormone washes. And then puberty happens, and that makes, like, pretty much all the difference. There's a lot of variance. It turns out there are actually some bio females who have that exact head shape, like Dr. Jane Claire Jones. Someone took a screen cap of her in profile in a video that she did and overlaid her with the male skull. And it is, no shit, actually dead on. It's actually insane. That's really, really good right there. I mean, as it turns out, guys, and this is going to sound crazy, I know, humans can look lots of different ways. And also, most ladies don't look like this with exaggerated eyelashes and an extremely pronounced dip in the, like, forehead to nose thing. This is actually a relatively stylized, hyper-feminine depiction of a skull shape. Still a better logo, I don't deny it. Yeah, there were a bunch of TERFs screaming about this, and by the way, guys, you know, the PC crowd doesn't want me to say it, but, like, there are a lot of Jewish, Arab, and Italian chicks who have bigger noses, You know, I've seen a lot of them in profile. Lovely ladies, beautiful. And insisting aggressively that this has to be a male skull highlights what I would consider to be an extremely racist undertone to a lot of the fake medical bioessentialism that TERFs push, you know? Because so much of the, like, female body shit they push is associated with relatively feminine Western beauty conventions. I think, in fact, I think recently I saw a prominent TERF saying that Semenya, Caster Semenya, the black sprinter, is she a sprinter or a marathon runner, was biologically male, despite being very much not. Yeah, so yeah. You saw that too. I don't know if I had that preloaded on my Twitter. I'll have to take my word for it. Semenya, yeah. I don't know if I can Google Semenya ban TERF. Oh, wait, hold on. Hello. White women have become bold enough to just declare any black woman who beats white women in sports and doesn't meet the standard of cis white womanhood as being men and justifying it as being gender critical. These words, according to Semenya, are remarkably omission of crucial fact. Semenya is fast. I have no doubt she's worked and trained hard. That's not the only fact that makes her good. Male biology makes her good. Caster Semenya is a trans. Caster Semenya is male. Wasn't there a picture of Caster Semenya, like, just sitting there? And somebody was like, look at that pose. That's a male pose. I need to find this. Hold on. There we go. Yes! TERF ideology, fighting for women everywhere. Semenya interview, sits, dresses, talks like a man, was raised playing with other boys, didn't play with girls. Now, this is interesting because all of these are social characteristics. Sits, dresses, talks like a man, was raised to play with other... First of all, this is all bullshit. But even if you assumed all of this was the case, these are all social characteristics, not biological. She's a tomboy. Yeah, she's a tomboy. This happened with Serena Williams, too. Yeah, I wonder why this keeps happening to women of color. That's super crazy. That's wacky. That's so wild. That's just trying to be, XY male with undescended testes. Otherwise, there'd be no ruling for him to appeal. He lives as man. He is married to a woman. He is married to a woman. Caster's free to race in a sexual category, which is male. I will never again buy Nike. Remarkable stuff here. I don't even know if this is TERF or conservative, but it's actually really, really difficult to tell the difference. Yeah, I don't know. Carly Yuga. Same picture. Yeah, intersex female. Well, I think that Caster Semenya is a pretty strong argument in favor of the social ascription and ambiguity of sex. And by the way, I actually think this tweet is like a phenomenal indicator of that. Because if they're trying to make like a statement on her sex, why are they doing it with social characteristics? It's almost like, you guys aren't going to believe this, it's almost like a lot of this is extremely arbitrary. And we're really flying off the seat of our pants here on a bunch of spurious, loose associations to try to uphold a crumbling social architecture. You know. Anyway, this is only we're really talking about this hilarious bit of TERF phrenology going on here. She's intersex. They said the other top three were trans males too. They're all black. Yeah, I mean the accusation of like black women not really being women has been a pretty common one in the past 200 years through scientific racism, you know? Or the idea that like the black people are more masculine by default and Asian people are more feminine by default, which is why black women are more masculine than white women and Asian men are more feminine than white men. Like this isn't even like a 200 years ago thing. People still believe this. It's still like a pretty commonly held belief, you know? Yeah, people do that shit. People talk about like the femininity of Asian women and the masculinity of black women all the time. Anyway, people were really in an uproar about this logo change of the biologically male profile here, which was actually just Dr. Jane Claire Jones. The Women's March updating their logo to include a male head overlaid with the two women is the sort of thing dystopian satirical writers would have rejected as being too far-fetched. Francis, you've met me. This is so good. You know I am tall and have a big nose. My profile in silhouette is similar to the one in this image, and that you say is a male head. Are you alleging that I am male? No, but the last time I met you, you weren't bald, towering over everyone, and had an Adam's apple. Unless you've morphed and changed sex in that time. If so, I would love to congratulate you on such a radical transformation. There's nothing wrong with my eyesight, Francis. That image does not have an Adam's apple, and it's impossible to tell whether it's bald. It's also only a profile image. It's also impossible to tell whether it's tall. It's cropped deliberately. I really feel for you that you see a male silhouette and think it looks remotely like you. X. Guys, they cropped out the Adam's apple in the drawing. They cropped in the drawing. Actually insane. Like, genuinely mentally ill. They see men everywhere. Their view of reality is so ridiculously warped. I've said this before. One of the, like, loudest... I'm telling... Like, guys, at the end of the day, like, the main thing that TERFs are man-haters. They're man-haters on a fundamental biological level, so they ascribe all their man-hate to trans women, who they see as men. But, like, at the end of the day, like, the funny thing with conservatives allying with these people is that people like Frances Weetman here are the stereotype of the man-hating feminist, like feminazi, that they made fun of for decades. Like, for the past 100 years, the stereotype used to smear suffragettes and then feminists has been the idea that they don't care about equality. They're just, like, mean, vicious henpeckers who hate men. And then you finally have a group who is actually just that, but they're okay with it because most of their antagonism is directed against trans women, who they see as, like, covert invaders of their spaces. It's absolutely wild. I'm telling you, though, transphobia makes you mentally ill. You know? They say trans people are mentally ill, and you know what? I have to say, having been on Twitter, that's correct. But who's even more mentally ill? Transphobes. It genuinely breaks your brain. It completely annihilates. It obliterates your ability to think. It does not take much to go and find shit like this all over TERF spaces online. They are psychotic. They are completely psychotic. They are insane. Absolutely wild. Phenomenal stuff. Really. Yeah, completely detached from reality. To the point where, like, and they're supposed to be liberatory for men. And by the way, Frances Weetman right here. Guys, can you see this little profile image? Is your, here. Now, pardon me for being mean, but if you took this lady and you rotated her 90 degrees, makes me wonder. I don't know. I think we might have I think she might be clockable, guys. No one's more clockable than a TERF, huh? We can tell. I bust out my calipers. The pronounced forehead, the large nose. There's no chance. This can't just be a way that women can look sometimes. Biologically male. We can always tell. The funny thing is that since a lot of the, like, big TERFs online are, like, butch lesbians from second wave feminist movements, a lot of them actually again, it's just the irony, man. It's just the irony of a bunch of, like, horrid, miserable witches online screaming, complicit in conservatives, allying with fascists, you know, practically grabbing and throwing trans women into the death camps, you know, and then you look at them and they look more clockable than the trans women they're screaming about. It's insane. I specifically remember this one. I didn't do this on stream. I was browsing Twitter, and it was after Natalie Wynn got her facial feminization surgery, and she was still in the recovery period. So, you know, in the video she put out, her face was still bloated, the beauty video that she did. And there was some thread on Twitter, TERFs being like, well, she still looks like a man. Well, he still looks like a man, you know, whatever. And I saw the thread, and it was a nothing. It was like 6 likes or whatever. I only saw it because someone else, some little account quote tweeted. But I look at it, and it's like some 40-something woman, I'm guessing, you know. I saw the profile picture, which was her face. And, you know, you can look at that profile picture, and it's like, damn. Does anyone look like a woman? Because you sure as shit, if she doesn't, who does? Not you. You know, like, who? Where's the line? Are there like 8 women on Earth, and they're all like fucking K-pop stars or something? Like idols, Japanese idols. That's it, guys. Get ready, okay? Japan idol group. Get ready to witness the only women. We're settling with these ones. Sorry, the rest of you are all biologically male. Better settle into your role now. These 5 are the only actual... Yep, there you go, that's it. The 5 women. The only unclockables. They're also cat girls? Well, yeah, naturally, right? All biological females have cat ears. Why are you looking at children? Wait, are these... I can't tell. They're all... They get put at so much makeup, I can't... Wait, aren't these just... I just Googled Japan idols. Does anyone know this group? All right, fine. We'll find older-looking idols. Not that I can tell with the makeup that they wear. They're 14. You're lying. They are not 14. You are lying to smear me. That is a goddamn lie. They're 3 years old. Maybe their band is. Chat says this is the band Baby Metal. Isn't Baby Metal a genre? It doesn't literally mean that babies are... Oh god. Do adult women even exist? Was anime right all along? Is that why all anime is set in high school? Okay. New group. These are now the only women in the world. There you go. The only unclockables. All the rest of you are clockable. You are giga-han-pilled. You can be spotted from a helicopter. Your skeleton does not lie. All of you. Nothing can be done. It's only these 1, 2, 3, 4, 11. The only biological women. Well, that's why I said giga-han-pilled. Here we go. When J.K. Rowling is trending, never forget this Twitter dialogue. Predators coming to a lady's toilet seat near you. You think this woman is a predator? It's a man! Clocked. More like J.K. Honling. It's over. Lie down and rot. Look at her trying to hide her Adam's apple. We'll go over those transvestigation lunatics one day. Please keep in mind the only point that I'm making here, the only real point that I'm making, is that the standards that transphobes set for, like, we can always tell are insane and would apply to the vast majority of cis women. That's the only real point that I'm making, okay? That's it. They think she was we'll do a transvestigation one in the future, okay? I googled the original pic you showed. We're all 16 to 18, not 14. That's still too young. This is it. The last females, okay? These are the only birthers left. There's also something to be said about the pressure trans women put on themselves to avoid this type of shit. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Trans women, like I said, trans women mentally ill, for sure they are. You know why they're ill? Because they see this shit online all the time. 98% of trans women's mental illness is from the ricochet from all the people online going like, you know, there's a 1 millimeter indent in your throat. Your Adam's watermelon is clockable from orbit. The ISS, you can see your Adam's apple. Then they'll post a picture of the most feminine hands you've ever seen in your life and go like, look at these man hands, you know? Absolutely psychotic, these people. Yeah, true, the family rejection shit, Demon Mama. These people take unironic talking points from Measurehead. Yeah, well, advanced racism, advanced transphobia, it all comes down to bone structure. I'm a black trans woman, I have literally no idea if I pass because of stuff like this. Here's my advice, okay? As someone who is an extremely cis male, but everyone thinks is trans anyway, because they want it to be true, but they will never be satisfied. Okay, here's the real hint, okay? You know how a lot of trans people are like, well, okay, you know, this, that, what, or the other, I just want to pass. It'll never happen. You know why? Because nobody knows what passing looks like anymore. Too much scrutiny has been put on trans people and their appearances, and we're now at the point where, like, cis people are getting the blowback. Whatever passing is, it's something that cis women aren't matching up to anymore either. We've reached a set of standards that are, well, maybe they're attainable sometimes, but they're well beyond, like, you know, yeah, it's very difficult, you know, yeah, God. It's so out there now. Who the fuck even knows, man? Who the fuck even knows? There you go, Tempest. Girl moding. Wow, I can't believe Vosh told me I'll never pass. Seriously, just don't obsess over it too much, because there's so much discourse about it right now. I swear, I see people, like, the most feminine bitches in the world getting clocked when they're cisgender, you know? Like, there are sex workers, you know, with fat, juicy pussies out there on Twitter or whatever, And you know, they're lefty, so every once in a while, they got pronouns in bio. Every once in a while, someone would be like, hey, we can tell you're a man because of your skull shape. And this is like, these people look like dolls. These people look like archetypes of femininity. You know, if shit like this is getting thrown around, what do these insults mean to you? You know, like if you're a trans lady and someone says shit like that to you, just keep in mind they probably said it to somebody who looks like Natalie Portman like last week, and just understand that it doesn't mean anything. Honest to God, you know what leads to trans women being clockable, at least online? They don't shut the f up about being trans. That's your real goddamn. I just want to pass. How the f can you pass? Every third post is about your estrogen shots. Shut up for a second. Maybe you'll pass. I learn about people being trans that way when I'm like, you know, follow someone's like, and then they'll be like, I love girl moding my boy toy estro shot. Whoa, you know. And I'm like, okay, well now I know you're trans, yeah. And then I'll see you later. They're like, I don't know if I'll ever pass. Shut up, and you'll pass. Shut the fuck up for a minute, and you'll shut up. Jesus Christ, you know. It's like sometimes I feel like I know I'm sure trans guys do this too, but the trans women are way more annoying online. So I see more of them. They're like, you know how there are people who are totally normal, but they keep apologizing for being awkward, and that makes everything awkward. That's like half the trans women on Twitter, I swear to God. Like, you'll have people, you're hanging out with them, and they're totally fine. And they'll be like, sorry if I'm, like, weird to be around you. I just feel kind of off today. And nothing was weird at all. But then now you know, and now you're thinking about it. Now you're like, okay, well, that was a little weird, you know? And now, like, you're critical of them in your head because they've drawn attention to it, you know? So if they just shut the fuck up and be confident enough to let their own presentation stand on its own, because they're worried that they'll think like because the trans girls are worried that other people are going to know that they're trans, but think that the trans girl thinks that they don't know and that they're delusional to think that. That's what they think. The trans girl's like, if I preemptively point out that I'm trans, other people won't think that I'm delusionally trying to bait them into thinking that I'm not trans. You know what I mean? I have no clue what you just said. The trans woman will preemptively acknowledge her transness because she doesn't want to put others and herself in a situation where there's ambiguity, which could lead either to other people assuming that they're not trans, assuming that they're trans and like thinking that they're delusional for thinking that they're not being shown to be trans, or that they might not pass. So by preemptively stating that they're trans, the other person won't misgender them because they were worried about it not like flying implicitly. Does that make sense? That was not that complicated, guys. You're just gonna have to rewind. Vosh, you're making sense. Ignore chat. I know I'm making sense. I don't know how it's not picking up. But people in chat, if they know, they know. No, it doesn't make sense. What? Nah, if you, it's fine. It's fine. Say lamp shading. Lamp shading. There. Armchair psychology. It's not armchair psychology. This shit happens. Is it like to avoid the trap accusation? No, it's okay. Okay, imagine you're playing pool at the bar, and you're joining. You're playing against. There's a group of pool boys. All right. And they're all good. And you're an amateur, but you're like a good amateur, all right? You're coming in hot. You want to play this game, okay? Now, here's the question. Off the bat, do you tell them that you're not a professional pool player? Do you say that you're an amateur? Because maybe you end up playing just as well as them. You don't say anything. They think you're a professional. But what if you come in there, they think that you're posturing as a professional, but then you do worse than them. And then they're like, huh, this kid thinks that he's like the professionals. But you don't think that. You're just trying to have fun. So you preemptively acknowledge that you're not one in order to frame their expectations and avoid them assuming presumptuousness on your part. Like, this isn't just a trans thing. Like, this happens all the time in, like, a ton of situations. This is autism? Is it really that... Okay, never mind. We're moving on. I think it's excessive humility. Excessive humility describes a lot of the transes. This makes sense. Don't listen to them. Thank you, Tempest. I trust Tempest. He's cool. You guys are dumb.